High above the Donaldson deck on a beautiful Friday morning at the USS Softball Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Iowa Softball is on the air on the Hawkeye Radio Network. This morning, the Iowa Hawkeyes, fresh off a 5-1 showing at Madeira Beach at the spring games and well rested after a few days off, will begin their final few games in the Sunshine State on their spring break trip as they take on the Marist Red Foxes. Good morning, everyone. Victor Anderson talking to you again. We are high above the Donaldson deck, just off to the right-handed batter's box here at the USS Softball Stadium, one of the more unique stadiums in all of college athletics. We will talk about that throughout our broadcast this weekend, but the big thing we want to talk about has been the red-hot play of Coach Renee Gillespie and her Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa going 5-1 at the spring games last weekend in Madeira Beach. The lone loss, a 7-1 blemish at the helms of Lehigh, and they'll have a chance to extract revenge against the Mountain Hawks later on this morning. The two big takeaways from last weekend in Madeira Beach was the continued red-hot hitting of Nia Carter, who is was in the top 5 in terms of batting average and is second in the nation in total hits. Nia had 5 multi-hit games last weekend in Madeira Beach, including 3 three-hit affairs that saw her average jump up to 533, which is top 5 in the nation, and she has been swinging a red-hot stick at the top of the Iowa lineup, and no real surprise, she will be once again leading off for your Hawkeyes this morning in Tampa, Florida. But in the circle for Coach Renee Gillespie has been the reemergence of fifth-year senior Bree Vasquez. She got off to a slow start this year, but really picked it up. The sunshine the vitamin D has served her well in her final season as a collegiate pitcher. Her last 6 appearances, 5 starts and a relief appearance, she has gone 5-0 with the save, with a dental floss .22 ERA, 43 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 31 innings. She was 1 double away on Tuesday versus Lafayette from throwing a perfect game. She was tremendous in that 8-0 5-inning victory for the Hawkeyes on Tuesday morning. Went the full 5 innings, struck out 11, and mentioned only gave up the 1 hit in that performance. And every batter in the starting lineup for Lehigh, with the exception of Callie Reltiano, the cleanup hitter, struck out versus Vasquez in that performance on Tuesday morning. She will start versus Lehigh in the second game of Iowa's doubleheader this morning here at Tampa, Florida. And it'll be the sophomore Devin Gear, who pitched tremendously in their win versus Bucknell on Sunday morning, where Vasquez came in and picked up the save. She'll get the ball for Coach Gillespie and company this morning in the first game of our twin bill. For the Marist Red Foxes and their head coach Joe Asanino in his 15th season at the helm. It's been a bit of a rough stretch. This is actually the second straight weekend that Marist will be here in USF at a tournament. The Red Foxes had a tough weekend last weekend, going 1-4, but they come in with a pitcher who has done tremendously well for herself. Actually picked up the Conference Pitcher of the Week honors for the second time in 3 weeks. Senior Kelly Myers, who had a tremendous 2 starts last week. She went 13 innings, a .54 ERA, allowed just 10 hits, and struck out 8 through complete games versus St. Francis and Florida Gulf Coast. Struck out 6 and walked 1 in the March 10th start versus St. Francis. And against Florida Gulf Coast, she did not allow an earned run and held the Eagles lineup hitless through the first 3 innings. Only allowed 3 hits, but Marist could have crossed anything home and lost that game 2-0 to FGCU here in Tampa. It's the first of 4 games the Hawkeyes will play here at USF Softball Complex. They will have Marist and Lehigh today, and then the Hawkeyes will have their toughest test of the young season coming up tomorrow afternoon, as they will take on the host USF Bulls and the number 11 ranked Texas Longhorns. We'll give you an extensive preview of those 2 matchups during our pregame shows coming up tomorrow afternoon. Pregame show will be starting about 3:10 4:10 here in Florida, 3:10 back in Iowa City. We start of a busy day of action for you here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Women's basketball will be starting their road to Dallas today at Carver Hawkeye Arena. So take on Southeastern Louisiana in a 2:15 matchup in the first round. Of course, baseball they'll be having their schedule get altered a little bit. They'll be going to play South Dakota State in Parkville, Missouri. That'll be pregame show will be at 1:30, 2 o'clock first pitch there. Iowa wrestling, a tremendous showing last night. 5 Hawkeyes advancing to the quarterfinals. We will highlight that throughout our broadcast this morning and early afternoon. And women's gymnastics set to host the Big Ten Championships at Extreme Arena tomorrow. We'll talk more about that throughout our broadcast this morning. Let's give you the starting lineups for today's contest. Iowa will be serving as the home team. They'll be in the third base dugout down below us to our left. Marist will be in the first base dugout to our right. They'll be the designated visiting team, and we'll have the first swings. So for Marist in there, head coach Joe Asiano will be Pusey, Freeland, Air at the top of the order. Peyton Pusey, she'll lead things off. She'll be in center field. Sam Freeland will be at shortstop. She'll hit in a 2-hole. And Hallie R., she'll be at second base. She's the leading hitter for the Red Foxes. She'll be hitting in the 3-hole. Pleasant, Scrupp, Wilson in the middle of the order. Maddie Pleasant, she'll be the designated player. She'll hit cleanup. Alyssa Grupp, she'll play the hot corner. She'll hit fifth. Reese Wilson will play at first base. She'll be hitting sixth. Walsh, Davis, Brock, 7, 8, 9, rounding up the order for Marist. Shay Walsh, she'll play in right field. She'll hit in a 7-hole. Megan Davis, she'll be doing the catching. She'll be hitting 8th. Hannah Brock will be in left, wear number 33, and hit number 9. Kelly Myers, the reigning Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Week, will be towing the rubber for Marist on this Friday morning. For your Iowa Hawkeyes, no real changes in terms of the order. It'll be Carter, Roman, Bennett at the top of the order. Nia Carter leading things off on a 11-game hitting streak and has reached base safely now in 16 straight games, the longest streak for any Hawkeye this season. Tatiana Roman, she'll play center field. She'll hit in the 2-slot, and the freshman Tori Bennett, she will hit third. Lecker, Baines, Diaz, middle of the order. Denali Lecker, once again, will be the DP. She'll be hitting cleanup. Grace Baines, who had a nice week last week in Madeira Beach, she'll look to continue that momentum. She'll be hitting fifth. She'll be playing third base. Sammy Diaz also had a solid weekend last weekend in Madeira Beach. She'll be playing first, hitting in the 6th slot. Klosterman, Doster, and Streff, 7, 8, 9. This was a portion of the lineup that helped Iowa to that 3-0 victory versus Bucknell on Sunday to clinch that winning weekend over at the Spring Braves. Riley Klosterman will get her third start of the season. She'll be in left field hitting in a 7-hole. Tristan Doster, who had a tremendous day both at the plate with her bat and behind the plate with her arm. She'll be hitting 8th. And then Anna Streff, she'll be playing second and hitting in a 9-hole. And Devin Greer will be in the circle for the Hawkeyes on this Friday morning. As we see down below the two head coaches, Joe Asanio over to our right in his 15th season at the helm with Marist, and down below the head Hawkeye herself, Renee Gillespie, in her 5th season with the Hawkeyes. And getting a chance to be back in very familiar grounds. She's had a few games here, time or two at USS Softball Stadium when she was the head coach at UCF, and also played some games at the previous incarnation of USF Stadium where they were playing just about 40, almost 300, 500 yards directly behind me to our left, where Corbett Stadium and the parking lot stands, now the new practice facility for USF football. He used to play games over there. We'll reflect on that during our time here in Tampa this weekend. And Coach Gillespie will see some familiar faces here in Tampa as the Hawkeyes are finishing up things on their spring break trip. One of her former players, Allison Kime, does television for USF and ESPN Plus, so she will be in the house this weekend. We'll definitely have a chance to talk to her, catch up about her time playing with Coach Gillespie. And tomorrow will be a very packed day in terms of where we are here on Media Row, because we will have our broadcast on the Hawkeye Radio Network tomorrow right over here, and then over to my immediate left at the same time will be the Texas Longhorns and their radio voice, Andrew Haynes. So we'll have a chance to talk to him, get a little word with Andrew for our pregame show before the Texas game. That'll be coming up tomorrow. Again, a busy day of action on the Hawkeye Radio Network. So get your caffeine, get your beverages ready in order, and especially if you're St. Patrick's Day, make sure you have a cold beverage. And those of you who are not of age, make sure it's non-alcoholic, of course, as we have a great day of action lined up for you here on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Learfield. And make sure you follow Hawkeye Athletics wherever you go by visiting HawkeyeSports.com. It'll be a tremendous day. You hear that familiar whistle for Coach Finay Gillespie. We see the Iowa faithful down below us, 2-11, and Iowa will be the designated home team, so they'll take the field first. Iowa in the dark gray uniforms with Iowa in the gold with the white trim. Marist in the light gray jerseys with the red numerals and the white trim. They'll be in the first base dugout as the visiting team, the first base dugout to our right, and they will be having the first swings on our game on this Friday morning. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity as we talked a little bit with Coach Gillespie before they went on their trip to the Sunshine State. Gave her team a few days off after they had a late arrival back from the tournament in Conway, Arkansas. Gave the team a few days rest, wanted them to focus on their studies and their schoolwork before they made the trip to Florida. And so far, it has worked out to their favor, a 5-1 start to the spring break trip. And we'll look for number 6 versus the Red Foxes this morning. We'll take a break for the playing of the national anthem. And we're set to go here on this Friday morning in Tampa, Florida. We're glad that you're with us here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Victor Anderson hollering at you from the Donaldson deck just on the outside of the Iowa Hawkeye dugout on the third base line. Iowa, the designated home team today, as Devin Gear gets her warm-up pitches going before we get things started on this Friday morning. Let's give it the starting lineups for the Marist Red Foxes. It'll be Peyton Pusey leading off, playing third base. Sam Freeland hitting in the 2-hole. She'll be at short. Haley R., she'll play at second. She'll hit third. Maddie Pleasance, the designated player, she'll be hitting cleanup. Alyssa Grupp, she'll hit fifth. She'll play third base. Renee Wilson will be at first base, hitting in the sixth slot. Shay Walsh will be in right, hitting seventh. Megan Davis will be catching, hitting eighth. And Hannah Brock will play left field, where number 33 and bat ninth for Marist and head coach Joe Asanio. Defensively for your Hawkeyes this morning, over in left field will be Riley Klosterman. Nia Carter will be captaining the outfield and center, and flanked to her left in right field will be there'll be Nia Carter in right field, and Tatiana Roman will be in center field for the Hawkeye defense. Around the infield, going with the same lineup that they had on Sunday and Tuesday. Sammy Diaz at first, Anna Streff at second. The freshman Tori Bennett is at short. Grace Maines at third. Behind the plate during the catching, Tristan Doster. And in the circle for the Hawkeyes, the right-handed sophomore, number 25, Devin Greer. Make her seventh start this year, 3-2, 3.90 ERA. 12 walks, 21 strikeouts, and 27 2/3 innings of work. Opponents are batting .287 against the sophomore, coming off one of her best performances on the young season, combining with Brianna Vasquez for a shutout versus Bucknell. So here comes Peyton Pusey. The first pitch of the game is a hard shot over the glove of Streff, but foul. First pitch right at 9 o'clock on the dot. Florida time, 8 o'clock in Iowa City. Again, we're glad that you're with us on this Friday morning here in the Hawkeye Radio Network. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us this morning here at USF Softball Stadium, broadcasting this beautiful Friday here on top of the Donaldson deck. Pusey hitting .283 this year, 1 RBI for the freshman. Gets up and inside. Out is even on a ball and a strike. John Schaefer calling the balls and strikes behind home plate. Jacob St. John is at first, and Terrell Guidry behind the back at third are men in the blue for this Friday morning affair. That's the misses on the outside edge. Count is 2 balls and a strike in favor of the freshman Pusey. Just on the way here in Tampa. Seven Gear looks at the pitch card over to her left arm. Spins the ball and winds it home. That's down below the knees. 3 balls and a strike. So 3-1 to the center fielder, Peyton Pusey, leading off from Marist. Garrett's thrown 3 straight balls to start the at-bat. Hard chopper over to second. Nice throw over by Streff to Sammy Diaz, and that's the first out of the game. It's a hard infield here at USF, so the Iowa infielders will have to be very clean and crisp with their footwork, making sure they get that ball in position before they make that throw. That's something that will keep updated throughout our contest today. So the 4-3 groundout starts off this morning's festivities. Here comes Sam Freeland, the shortstop. Freeland shows bunt but takes a strike, says John Schaefer. 0-1. Freeland, a senior, hitting .339, no home runs, 3 RBIs this year. Marist, as a team coming into this weekend, hitting .256, only 3 home runs. As a team, scores 74 runs in their 21 games. Hard shot down the line. Great play over at third by Grace Baines. And makes the strike to Diaz for out number 2. So that the Iowa infield getting some early work from Marist. And Grace Baines made that look smooth and effortless right in front of third base. So 2 down for the best hitter for the Red Foxes, the sophomore second baseman Haley R. R leads them in hitting, top of the lead in home runs, and well ahead of anybody in RBIs as she takes the strike on the outside half of the plate. R with 23 RBIs this season. The next closest player, actually hitting .375 this year, is R. And that gets outside for a strike, makes it 0-2. R, .375, 1 home run, 22 RBIs. The next closest teammate in RBIs is Maddie Pleasance, who is on deck, and she only has 7. Greer had no balls and 2 strikes, looking for a 3-up, 3-down frame in the top of the first. That one goes foul up the netting just in front of the Red Foxes dugout. Iowa again serving as the home team today, wearing the gray uniforms. Iowa in gold, trimmed with white. Marist in the light gray with the red numerals and numbers trimmed with white as well. Count remains 0-2 to Hallie R. Greer trying to get her to chase on the outside pitch. She doesn't go for it. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Correction on Devon's ERA coming into today's contest. Her ERA is at .304. Have 5 shutout innings versus Bucknell on Sunday morning. Foul tip just past Doster and a home plate umpire, John Schaefer. Count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 down in the Marist first. Devin Greer looking to pick up a scoreless first inning to start things off for the Hawkeyes. That was a little bit upstairs. Count is level, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Devin in that game versus Bucknell we referenced earlier. 5 scoreless innings. Walked 1, struck out 2. 2-2. That shot that will get past between Streff and Diaz. And Hallie R with a 2-out single to extend the frame for the Red Foxes. So 2 down as the R single extends the frame for Maddie Pleasance. Pleasance batting from the right side, hitting .255. 7 runs driven in for the sophomore. Foul tip into the glove of Tristan Doster for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Devin Greer gets the sign, rocks back, sends it in. That one will go foul over the stands. Over on the walkaway here at USF Softball Stadium to our far right. Count now 0-2. Greer's got on ahead of all 4 batters she's faced so far this morning. Got 2 ground outs and gave up a 2-2 single due to right side by Hallie R to extend the frame for Marist. Ground ball, this time fielded cleanly by Streff off of the Sammy Diaz at first, and Devin Greer gets through the first inning unscathed. So the 2-out single by Hallie R does no damage to the sophomore hurler. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Marist nothing, and your Iowa Hawkeyes coming to the plate. And the lineup today for head coach Renee Gillespie is as follows. Nia Carter, as always, will lead things off. Tatiana Roman will hit in the 2-hole. Tori Bennett, she'll play short. She'll hit 3rd. Denali Lecker, she'll hit cleanup. Grace Baines will hit 5th. Sammy Diaz, the first baseman, will be hitting in the 6th spot. Briley Klosterman will get to start again in left field, wearing number 22, hitting 7th. Tristan Doster, she'll catch, hitting in the 8-hole. And batting 9th will be the freshman second baseman, Anna Streff. Defensively for Marist, Hannah Brock will be in left field. Peyton Pusey will be in center. Shea Walsh will be in right. Around the infield for the Red Foxes, Alyssa Grupp will be at 3rd. Sam Freeland will be at short. Haley Ards at second base. Reese Wilson will be at first. The battery will comprise of Megan Davis behind the plate, and in the circle for the Red Foxes, the rating Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference pitcher of the week, number 31, Kelly Myers. Myers this season, 2-3 with a sparkling 2.39 ERA. She's making her 6th start, 9th appearance overall in the circle. 37 2/3 innings of work, 29 strikeouts, 10 walks. Opponents are batting .227 against her. We referenced Myers' performances she had last weekend. Struck out 10, struck out 8, allowed only 10 hits. Didn't give up an earned run in their 2-0 loss to Florida Gulf Coast to wrap up their first weekend of tournaments here at USF. Well, she'll have to deal with the nation's hottest hitter right now in the Hawkeyes, Nia Carter. Carter hitting .524 this year, and that average has gone up since the Hawkeyes landed in the Sunshine State. Ground ball, round over to 3rd, and it'll go over to first base to retire Carter. So Carter cannot extend that hitting streak in the first inning like she's done in the past 4 games. So down goes Carter on the first pitch, 5-3 ground out. Mara's understanding, very important to not let Carter reach and set the table for this Iowa order, which has really found their groove here in Florida. Tatiana Roman steps into the lefty box, steps up and takes a strike on the inner 3rd. Roman hitting 330. Roman hitting .359 this year. It's still early, folks, and the coffee's wearing off, so forgive me in this inning. No home runs, 7 RBIs. Down one just tails outside. Count is even 1-1. Roman's hitting has really increased during this trip as well. The top of the Iowa order with Carter, Roman, and Bennett really had their moments, particularly that Friday pair of wins versus South Alabama and Chattanooga. Roman behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 down in the Iowa first, no score. Jess goes to the outside. Marist fans thought that one should have caught the zone. Sanio gets over the dugout. Count is even 2-2. Sanio will call the pitches as well from the Marist dugout. High chopper. Could be a tough play by Air. She does get there to throw out Roman. And it's a hard infield in Tampa. And we saw a play earlier that had to be made at second by Anna Streff, and Hallie R. for Marist doing a similar thing on a ball that took a real big bounce, but she's able to make the play for out number 2. So 2 down for the shortstop, Tori Bennett. That was up at the letters for ball 1. Tori hitting .321. 10 RBIs for the freshman, still looking for her first home run as a Hawkeye. Ground ball, that will go up the middle, and I'll be the first base hit in the morning for the Hawkeyes. So just like Marist, back-to-back ground outs and a 2-out single extend the frame. And here comes the power bat for the Hawkeyes at a DP, Denali Lecker. Lecker hitting .275, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. She equaled her RBI total with a home run on Sunday versus Bucknell. It gave the Hawkeyes some insurance as Lecker takes strike 1. Two down, bottom of the first. Tori Bennett extended the inning with a single up the middle. See if Coach Gillespie sends the freshman in motion. She does not, and another ground ball to Lecker. Nice group over at short. Toss to R at second to get the force, and that will end the Iowa first. So once again, just like Marist, Iowa gets a 2-out single but leaves a runner stranded. No runs on 1 hit, 1 runner left on base. Inning complete here at USF Softball Stadium on a Friday morning, St. Patrick's Day. Hawkeyes and Red Foxes are scoreless. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Welcome back to Tampa, Florida. Victor Anderson hollering at you above the Donaldson deck here at USS Softball Stadium, where literally 10 feet away from me is the USF Baseball Stadium, one of the only facilities in all of college athletics where their baseball and softball stadiums are connected with each other. USF Baseball will be our home this weekend, just like Iowa Baseball will be. Mother Nature has caused a little shakeup in their schedule, which we'll highlight at the end of this half inning. 5, 6, 7 coming up for the Red Foxes as they take on Devin Greer. First pitch will just go over the head of the third baseman Baines and drop in the shallow left field. Alyssa Grupp with the first pitch leadoff single to start the second. Victor Anderson with you on the Hawkeye Radio Network as Alyssa Grupp picks up a leadoff single on the first pitch from Devin Greer to start the second inning. And I'll warrant a conversation with Marist head coach Joe Asanio. Asanio in his 15th season at the helm of the Marist program, and before he got into softball, actually was a pitcher for the New York Yankees and a couple of other organizations during his time with Major League Baseball. He's having a quick conversation with Coach Brian Levin at the Hawkeye dugout. Very, very personable individual. So here comes Reese Wilson. Wilson hitting .290 this year. Runner goes. Greer to go to second. They say they didn't get her. Hold on, timeout. Timeout is called. So the runner left early. So Coach Gillespie will elect to take the out with Grubb. So that was the first base umpire who made that call, Jacob St. John, who said that Grubb left first early. So that will go down. So she'll be out. And that will put Wilson back in the box. Bases clear, 1 out. Now one goes on the outside half of the plate. So it goes down as a pickoff due to the runner leaving early. And that one gets crushed. That will go foul amongst the trees just beyond the entranceway to our right. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Now with 1 down here in the top of the second. Little flip, that will sneak inside the right field line, and that'll be another base hit for Marist. They're not getting good. They're getting soft contact off Greer, but it's just hard enough to pick up 3 base hits off the sophomore. So here comes the right fielder, Shea Walsh, to the plate for Marist. Walsh, first pitch ground ball. Took a wicked hop behind and went behind Torrey Bennett. And there is no play. And Marist with the first real scoring threat with first and second. Coach Asanio will see a pinch runner for Marist. We see Lauren Morrell. She'll come on to run at second base. So Morrell will take over and run at second for Reese Wilson. So first and second for Marist, 1 out. And how big was that call for Grubb for leaving early from first? Megan swing and a miss. So I see a pinch hitter already. See Marist coming up. Megan Davis wearing number 36 instead of her customary number 19. Davis in a critical situation. Breaking ball, misses outside. Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out. Greer is already with a loaded inning and a half. Trying to keep this game scoreless. Hoping for a ground ball. Maybe she could turn 2. At least try and get the force at third. Davis will flip that foul over the first base dugout and over the stands behind the first base side. One ball and 2 strikes to the catcher, Megan Davis. Hannah Brock awaits on deck for Marist. Scoreless in the top of 2. Davis with another good swing. I will land on top of the screen and into the Red Foxes dugout. Marist occupying the first base dugout this morning. And we will do it all again with a 1-2 count. Marist with 3 straight hits to start the inning. Crumpled the first pitch single over the head of Baines. She got called out for leaving the base early. Ground ball to Bennett. Steps on second for one. First double play. That ends the inning. Greer got the ground ball she desperately needed. Got the hit it over to Bennett. Steps on second. Tosses it to Diaz for a 6-3 inning-ending double play. And the sophomore Devin Greer gets out of the threat. No runs on 3 hits. 1 runner left on base. An inning and a half complete. Here's USF. Marist and Iowa remain scoreless. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Haley Myers finishes her warm-up tosses. We welcome you back to USS Softball Stadium. Victor Anderson, glad that you be with your spending part of your St. Patrick's Day morning with us. I know it was an early morning for those of you across Hawkeye land. We certainly wish safe travels for those of you who are returning back from Birmingham after Coach Fran McCaffrey's outfit had a tough loss to see their season end of the men's NCAA tournament versus Auburn, which was a de facto home game, if we're being honest with ourselves. Low to shoot toss, ball 1, 5-6-7 coming up for the Hawkeyes. Baines, Diaz, Klosterman taking on Healy Myers. Myers reigning MAAC pitcher of the week. Good swing by Grace. That one will go off the screen again into the Red Foxes dugout. Fans prefer to make it sound more pleasantly sounding, refer to it as the MAC. Not to be confused with the MAC, which is a Mid-American Conference. 1-1 Baines. Takes a strike 1 and 2. Grace hitting .286 this season with a home run and 11 RBIs. The home run, a big 3-run shot last Friday versus South Alabama, which propelled Iowa to a 4-2 win to start off their spring break trip. 1-2, and Baines goes down swinging on the pitch upstairs. Well, Myers not known for her strikeouts. That's only her 30th strikeout this year, and now 38 and over 38 innings of work on the rubber. So one down for Sammy Diaz. Diaz takes strike 1. Diaz hitting .239. Home run for her, 10 runs driven in. And Diaz falls behind 0-2. Myers getting nice locations from John Schaefer behind home plate this morning. And sure, Associate Head Coach Manny Garner will be keeping track as well. Diaz will shoot that to right, but that will go in front of Walsh, but foul. Diaz made good contact, but that ball quickly sliced right and landed in foul territory. Count remains 0-2 to Diaz. 1 down, bottom of the second. That one misses upstairs. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. See what Diaz can get here on the 1-2 pitch from Myers. Here it comes. Down and in, Myers. Again, Myers working heavily on that inside half of the zone, working around right around the bottom of the thigh and the knees. Doesn't get the strike there to ring up Sammy. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to R. Again, using that hard infield. Set her feet and made the throw to Wilson. 2 away in the Iowa second. So 2 away for the Hawkeyes in the second. They'll bring up Bradley Klosterman, who returned back to the starting lineup for Coach Renee Gillespie. 3 for 9 so far this year, takes a strike. Klosterman, during the first few games last week in Madeira Beach, was used mainly as a pinch hitter. Takes that upstairs for ball 1. Didn't get her first start of the season until that Bucknell game on Sunday. A 3-0 win for the Hawkeyes, and had a very strong performance. Went 1 for 4 in that game. And we'll pick up another base hit. Got a ball inside of the hands. Slipped it past Wilson over at first, and another 2-out single for the Hawkeyes. And a warn a quick trip to the circle for head coach Joe Asanio. We'll have a talk with his battery of Myers and Davis. And I'll set the stage for the catcher Tristan Doster. Doster has been hitting tremendously in this Florida trip. Has increased her average to 360 with 5 runs driven in. Tristan came into this trip hitting .313. And has been getting some more playing time. This trip she's gone 4 of 11, 3 RBIs, 2 of them coming in that win versus Bucknell. And the chance of T-Money immense from the Hawkeye dugout on the third base side as Toster takes ball 1. Doster went 3 for 3 in that game versus Bucknell with those 2 RBIs. That misses down low. It was his portion of the lineup with Klosterman, Doster, and Anna Streff, who's on deck, that propelled the Hawkeyes to that 3-0 victory. They were 5 of the 11 hits, scored 2 of the 3 runs. Again, misses down low and at the shoelaces, and it's a 3-0 count in favor of Dosterman. Doster. Klosterman, I meant to say. I combine those 2 names for whatever reason. Lines at the center, and hustling over is Pusey. She makes the catch to deny the Hawkeyes of an extra base hit and a run, and that will end the second inning. So the Hawkeyes again get a 2-out knock, but leave the runner straight in at first. No runs on 1 hit. We're Tampa. We stay scoreless. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Victor Anderson welcoming you back to our broadcast position here at the Donaldson deck overlooking USF Softball Stadium. We look to my immediate left, we see USF Baseball Stadium, one of the few facilities, if not the only facility in all of college athletics where you have the baseball and softball stadiums connected directly next to each other. We're just in our vantage point just over to the far left, seeing the Josephine Hamel Campo batting facility where USF Baseball will be getting their swings in later on this afternoon. And we go back here to where we see the Lawler family batting facility here at USF Softball Stadium. Scoreless, got a good one going between Myers and Devin Greer. Heading to the top of the third, 9-1-2 coming up for the Red Foxes. Brock, Pusey, and Freeland taking on the sophomore hurler. She sings that first pitch that will split the gap in right center field, and Brock will have to settle for a leadoff triple. Again, Marist jumping early, making solid first pitch contact against Greer. That's the 5th base hit already for Marist. As they finish their first time through the order, the lineup turns around with the leadoff hitter, Peyton Pusey. Pusey bounced out to second. Lays down a bunt. Greer will throw it over. Low throw to Strepp, but gets it there. So Pusey does her job with the sacrifice bunt 1-4, moving over Brock in scoring position. So runner at second, 1 out. And I'll bring up the shortstop, Sam Freeland. Freeland grounded out on the first pitch, back to third. Ball gets away from Doster, goes away just enough to move up Brock. So 2 pitches have seen Hannah Brock advance 120 feet. Move over to second on the sacrifice bunt, and now the wild pitch has her standing at third. Tries to squeeze. And bunts foul over in the right-handed box. Hawkeyes had the wheel play on both sides with Baines and Diaz charging in. Bennett and Streff rounding to cover the respective bases on the corners. Hawkeye outfield playing shallow. Will hope for a weak fly ball to keep that runner hold up at third. Ground ball back to Greer, looks quickly at third, and gets it over to first in time for out number 2. Nice PFP by Devin Greer. Read the hop, looked over to third where Brock saw she wasn't going, still made a quick throw to Diaz at first. So 2 down. And I'll bring up the Red Foxes leading hitter, Hadley R, R single to the right side, back of the first. That's low to nice low right in front of the off-white cleats of the leading hitter for Marist, the sophomore, for ball 1. Hannah Brock at third, 2 outs. Devin Greer trying to keep this a scoreless game for Iowa. The 1-0 pitch. Ground ball, that goes to the left side, and Marist to take a 1-0 lead. So Hallie R picks up RBI number 23. Nice piece of hitting, shooting that through the 5-6 hole, splitting between Baines and Bennett. And Marist has a 1-0 lead, and I'll set up Maddie Pleasance. Pleasance bounced out to Streff to end the Marist first, and takes the strike on the inner third. Iowa trailing 1-0, top of the third. Hallie R responsible for that run-scoring single. Goes away, count is even at a ball and a strike. See some action going on in the Hawkeye bullpen right now, just beyond the left field. And another ball gets through third baseman past Grace Baines, and Marist knocking around Devin Greer to the tune of 7 hits. All of them have been singles. Well, like a death by 1,000 paper cuts. As Marist continues to make just enough solid contact to find those open pockets in the Iowa infield. Now once fouled off the inside of the foot of Alyssa Grubb. Marist 1, Iowa nothing in the top of inning number 3. 7 hits already for the Red Foxes. Outside, good job by the 5-hole hitter Grubb to hold up her swing. First and second, 2 out. Greer trying to limit the damage to the single run. 1-1 delivery will break her upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Greer looks over, gets the sign, looks on the pitch card on the left forearm. 2-1. Knocked down by Diaz, back to Streff, and a rare 3-4-3 ground out ends the inning. So Greer does give up a run, but that is all she allows. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. Hawkeyes have some work to do as we head into the home third. Marist leading 1-0. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. This morning's part of a busy day of action here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Got you finished listening to us in Tampa. Join John Leo and John Evans for the call from Parkville, Missouri as Hawkeye baseball returns to the diamond later on today as it starts a 3-game series versus South Dakota State. Pre-game coverage will start at 1:30 with first pitch scheduled at 2 on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Fans get access to stream free on YouTube or by downloading the Varsity Network app. It's supposed to be a 3-game series in Iowa City, but Mother Nature's altered those plans, so they'll have the single game in Parkville today and then the doubleheader back at Dwayne Banks Field Sunday at 12 noon. And a Streff, Nia Carter, Tatiana Roman, 9-1-2 coming up for Coach Gillespie and company in the bottom of the third, trailing 1-0. And a Streff swings through and takes strike 1. Victor Anderson back here with you here at USS Softball Stadium. Hallie R with an RBI single in the top of the inning has the Red Foxes leading 1-0. And Keely Myers goes back to work. Stretch sends that to right. Good contact, but Walsh is right there. Only had to move a step or 2 at the most. Record the first out of the inning. So back to the top of the Iowa order and Nia Carter. Carter grounded out to Grubb, playing in at third in the first inning. Carter takes that for strike 1. Carter coming into this game, carrying an 11-game hitting streak and reaching base safely in 15 straight games. And we'll make it 16 straight games, reaching in a 12-game hitting streak. Number 2 in the nation in hits this year. Makes it number 45 in her senior campaign. And the Hawkeyes are in business with Tatiana Roman to the dish. Roman grounded out back to R in the first. Carter doesn't go. Roman takes the strike. And you see Davis. Davis quickly getting that ball out of her glove. Chasing Nia back to first. Coach Gillespie, when talking to her, really stressed her team wanting to capitalize and be better in these particular situations. Well, a weak number off the end of the bat of Roman. Fouled in front of the on-deck circle where Tori Bennett studies this at bat 0-2. Pusey is playing a little in from center. Carter fakes going from first. Sort of a pseudo pitch out from Myers as Davis hopped back over and was ready to make a strike to Freeland, who was going to cover second. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tatiana Roman. Nia Carter on with a single at first. Roman flares that to left. That one will go out of the reach of Brock in foul ground. We'll do it all again, 1-2. Roman trying to move Carter over to see to send Nia again on a 1-2. They don't ground ball to short. Bobbled. Throw to second. No, they don't get her. That slide bobble by Freeland was just enough to Carter get that right foot underneath. And the Hawkeyes with first and second. They'll bring up Tori Roman. Tori Bennett with an opportunity right now. Bennett singled due to rights. Bennett singled up the middle in the first with 2 out. Takes that for a strike. Bennett 281 this year. Will love to bring home Carter from second to tie up our contest. 0-1 down on her back leg. This is down 1 ball to 1 strike. Lisa Navas, volunteer assistant for USF, looking on. Taking notes on both teams as the Bulls will play them later on this weekend. Bennett to right. Walsh is there, makes the catch. Carter has to retreat back. Great relay by Walsh over to Freeland, who was covering between second and third. So 2 down in the Iowa third. It'll be up to Denali Lecker to put the Hawkeyes on the board. Down and low, ball 1. Lecker hit into a fielder's choice. Now forced out Bennett to end the Iowa first. Denali, a .333 hitter with 2 outs. Chops that off the plate, goes over the left shoulder of Davis. Foul. Count is even 1-1. Iowa trying to pick up Nia Carter, who extended her hitting streak with a single early on this inning. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. That one misses again inside. Myers looking over and trying to get clarification, as is Davis, of where that one missed from Mr. John Schaefer. I showed her Carter a couple of games that are reaching base streak. She's actually reached base safely now in 18 straight games with that 12-game hitting streak. 3-1. That one finds the mark, and it's a full count. So Carter and Roman will be on the go. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a 1-run game in the bottom of the third. Denali Lecker trying to get the Hawkeyes on the board. Keely Myers trying to keep this a 1-run lead. Ground ball over to third. Krupp makes the toss to Wilson at first. And down go the Hawkeyes. So Iowa with their best chance so far today. Strand 2. No runs on 2 hits. 2 left. 3 innings in the books in Tampa. Iowa trailing Marist 1-0. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Top of the 4th inning as Garth Brooks greets us back here in Tampa, Florida on top of the Donaldson deck. Victor Anderson, glad that you're with us on a busy Friday of action on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We have baseball for you. We have Iowa wrestling going on later on this afternoon. 5 Hawkeyes winning their quarterfinal matches last night. Women's basketball taking place. A full slate of action for you on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's softball leading things off this morning. Trailing 1-0 to Marist in the top of the 4th. It'll be Renee Wilson, Shea Walsh, and Megan Davis, 6, 7, 8, taking on the sophomore right-hander Devin Greer. Iowa goes outside, ball 1. 1 run on 7 hits, no errors for Marist. They have left 4. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for Iowa. They have also stranded 4. Hallie R, an RBI single in the top of the 3rd, a lone run for the Red Foxes. Hit to right. Carter's there, makes the catch. Just a few feet to the left of the patch/dirt in the outfield, 1 down. So brings up the right fielder, Shea Walsh. Walsh, part of that triumvirate of Red Foxes with singles into second. Actually takes the first pitch, but takes it for a strike from Greer. Iowa defensively, Klosterman, Roman, and Carter the outfield from left to right. Baines, Bennett, Streff, Diaz the infield third to first. Tristan Doster catches that pitch upstairs from Devin Greer. Count is even on the ball and a strike. Greer today scattered 7 hits, only allowed that 1 run in the 3rd. Has a walked a batter, has a struck out a batter. 44 pitches for the sophomore. Pitch number 45. Catches Walsh on the backside, and she will walk gingerly over to first. See the Iowa Brain Trust having a conversation. You see Brian Levan in his first season with the Hawkeyes, and associate coach Mandy Gardner just down below. All right, talking with Avery Jackson. Out comes Megan Davis. Davis takes that inside and low for ball 1. Davis hit into that 6-3 double play to let Greer escape unscathed into second. Hit a 2-hopper to Tori Bennett, who stepped on second and threw a strike to Diaz. Ground ball, Baines. Only getting one with Straff covering at second for the Force. So almost another double play hit in two. But instead it'll be a fielder's choice, 2 down. As Davis will change places with Walsh. And I'll bring up Hannah Brock. Brock started the third with a first pitch single, came on to score in the Hallie R base hit. Now one drops on the outside, almost into the right-handed batter's box, 1-0. 5 lefties in the lineup for Coach Joe Asanio in his 15th season leading this Marist program. A little closer to the target, but still a little bit outside to the liking of John Schaefer behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. 2 balls, no strikes to the 9-hole hitter Hannah Brock with 2 down in the top of the 4th. Hawkeyes trailing 1-0. Hops in front of the plate, stopped by Doster, but not stopped enough to move Davis up to second. So Brock with a favorable count, 3-0. Davis on at second. And they got the top of the lineup coming up with Peyton Pusey. She'll likely keep that bat on that left shoulder as we anticipated. Takes strike 1. Devin Greer trying to leave Davis put at second and keep this a 1-run deficit for the Hawkeyes as we approach the halfway mark on this Friday morning. The 3-1. Tall ball forward. It looked good from our vantage point upstairs, but John Shaver had a different and the best angle. Hopefully that does not come back to bite Hannah. Come back to bite Hawkeyes and Devin Greer. Back to the top of the order, Peyton Pusey. Pusey grounded out to second, had a sacrifice bunt her last plate appearance, which came in the third. Almost up high, ball 1. All right, now Devin's going to have to find a way to battle through. Scattered 7 hits this morning. Has only allowed that 1 run. And another sticky circumstance here. This is inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Mandy Garner. Look over to Tristan Dawson, finding out where that pitch missed. Getting very dangerous right now for the sophomore. And gets that strike, makes it 2-1. Megan Davis at second, Hannah Brock at first. Peyton Pusey at the plate for Marist. Counting her favor, 2-1, 2 down in the 4th. Hits that deep to right. That one will carry, and that one will carry out of here. Payne Pusey triples her RBI total in 1 swing and makes it 4-0 Marist. You were concerned if that walk issue to Brock would come back to hurt. Unfortunately, it did. So 4-0 Marist, and up comes Sam Freeland. And we'll see a trip out to the circle for associate head coach Mandy Garner, and that will be all for Devin Greer. So Devin Greer sees her morning come to a close. And we'll see the sophomore right-hander Emma Henderson take over in relief for the Hawkeyes. Emma Henderson making her 4th appearance this year. All of them are coming relief. She is 1-0. Has allowed a run on 3 innings of work. No walks and 1 strikeout. Opponents are batting an even 100 against her. For Henderson, this is her first appearance since March the 3rd versus Alcorn State, where she pitched an inning of scoreless relief in a 9-1 victory. Picked up that lone strikeout on 11 pitches. And now for Coach Renee Gillespie and company, it's all about keeping this within distance. And if you're Marist, and particularly if you're Keely Myers in the circle, you get a big home run from your leadoff hitter, Payne Pusey. You have a 4-0 lead, so you have a little bit more wiggle room to work with. Sam Freeland at the plate. First pitch, Henderson deals is strike 1. Bears 4, Iowa nothing in the top of the 4th. Bunt laid down, but foul. Freeland laid down the bunt, but Doster jumped on it quickly when that ball bounced in the right-handed batter's box. Devin Greer got the start. Got just out of the game after giving up a 3-run home run to Payne Pusey. We'll give you her final line after this final out of the 4th, which is a ground ball back to Henderson. Toss to Diaz, and that will end the frame for Marist. But they pick up 3 big runs on the 3-run home run from Payne Pusey. 3 runs on a hit, no errors, nobody left on base. At the halfway mark on this Friday morning, Hawkeyes have some work to do. Trailing 4-0 here in Tampa, Florida. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Welcome back to USS Softball Stadium. Iowa softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. So far, the Hawkeyes on the losing end of a 4-0 matchup versus the Marist Red Foxes. Baines, Diaz, Klosterman leading off. Baines' first pitch bounces over to Freeland. Over to first, 1 pitch, 1 down, and a Hawkeye 4th. Victor Anderson back with you from our broadcast position on top of the Donaldson deck, overlooking USS Softball Stadium, the baseball stadium just to our immediate left. On what is a nice, cool, warm Florida morning. Diaz first pitch ground, but right there to Wilson. And the Hawkeyes getting some good pitches from Myers. And Myers getting early outs. 2 quick outs for the Hawkeyes on 2 pitches in the 4th. I'm going to bring up Riley Klosterman. Riley Klosterman to the plate, excuse me. Riley with the 2-out single in the 2nd, but that was ended up being stranded. Klosterman takes the first pitch for a strike. Myers gets the sign for Coach Asanio from the first base dugout. Slings in the 0-1. Misses high and up. Count is even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs here in the 4th. Misses up and misses away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hawkeyes have picked up only 4 hits this morning. And that'll be 5, and that one sticks. See something underneath the glove of Wilson. And probably Klosterman. It's now 2 for 2. Again, this is the Iowa part of the order that did the heavy lifting in their win on Sunday versus Bucknell. A 3-0 win over the Bison after a much more rounded team effort in their 8-0 victory versus Lafayette on Tuesday morning to finish off that time with Dyer Beach. Tristan Doster whips out the pitch away, 0-1. Now, 10 o'clock here in Florida. Victor Anderson talking to you here from USS Softball Stadium. Hawkeyes trying to come from behind. They trail 4-0. Klosterman, that takes a sharp hop, goes past Freeland. Rounding over to third and sliding in safely is Klosterman. Doster goes over to second, and the Hawkeyes are in business with 2 on and 2 out in the 4th. That ball took a tough hop, just missed grazing the shoulder of Freeland, who was coming into her left, trying to get that ground ball to try and toss it over to second to get the force. Coach Renee Gillespie will have Riley Moss pinch run at second. So Haley Down will pinch run, Riley Moss, I don't know if you're going to see Riley Moss, but it actually will be Haley Down pinch running. So they'll credit a single only to Dosterman. Only to Dolster, Again, I'm confusing Doster and Klosterman again. So Klosterman at third. And down the pinch runner at second. Strike 1 taken by Anna Streff. Streff, ground ball over to short. Freeland makes the throw to first. And once again, the Hawkeyes get the runners on, but they can't get them in. Hawkeyes pick up 2 more hits. However, they leave 2 more runners on base and still trail 4-0 as we head into the top of the 5th. This is Iowa Softball from Learfield. We go now to the top of the 5th inning. Iowa still trailing 4-0 as they are quickly running out of outs. Emma Henderson back to work in her first full inning of relief, taking over for the sophomore Devin Greer. It'll be 3, 4, 5 coming up for the Red Foxes and head coach Joe Asanio. It'll be Haley R. who brought home the game's first run with an RBI single in the 3rd leading off, followed by Maddie Pleasance and Alyssa Grubb. Victor Anderson talking to you here from the Donaldson deck overlooking USF Softball Stadium on a beautiful St. Patrick's Day morning in Tampa, Florida. Henderson throws that outside ball 1 to R. R 2 for 2, pair of singles to go along with that RBI single in the third. That one blows outside. Count is 2-0. Henderson, along with Greer, having some troubles getting those outside strikes called by John Schaefer behind home plate. 2-0. Looper goes over Diaz and Jacob St. John's heads in foul ground. 2-1. Four runs, 8 hits, no errors for Marist. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Hawkeyes. Iowa picked up 3 runs on a 3-run blast by Peyton Pusey with 2 outs in the 4th that KO'd Devin Greer from this morning's affair. Ground ball. Diaz tried to backhand it. Did not get there, and it'll be another leadoff single for Marist. And Haley R now 3 for 3. So Matty Pleasance will come to the plate for the Marist Red Foxes. Pleasance singled in the third and grounded out to Streff to end the Marist first. Henderson, the first pitch, shows bunt, hops on the ground, and Diaz still makes the throw to Streff at second to throw out Matty Pleasance. Heck of a job by Sammy. Dove to try and catch the bunt that hung in the air a little bit too long. She fell before the ball hit the ground. Slightly let the ball get in front of her, but still made the toss over to Streff covering. All of that for will be officially scored a 3-4 sacrifice bunt to move Air to second. Thankfully, it's just that and nothing else. Grubb to the plate, 1 for 2. Now one misses away, and you can start to feel and sense that frustration in that Iowa dugout, particularly with Coach Gardner. That one will go foul high off the screen in front of the Hawkeyes dugout along the third base line. First of 2 for Iowa today. They'll take on Lehigh approximately 30 minutes after this game comes to its conclusion. So stay with us on the Hawkeye Radio Network as we get you set for a busy St. Patrick's Day of action. That one goes just in front of the left field fence with a rolling hill. Now that feeds into the Iowa dugout. Count stays 1-2. This is outside. Henderson had a few pitches that she thought would be called strikes on the outside half of the plate. But John Schaefer has been maintaining that very tight, consistent zone. 2-2. That was line goes foul right in front of Bradley Klosterman. Klosterman, excuse me. It's Klosterman, Roman, Carter, the outfield for the Hawkeyes. Infield of Diaz, Streff, Bennett, Baines. Dosterg doing the catching now for Emma Henderson in the circle. Spinning the ball, getting the sign. Sends the 2-2 home. And we'll do that all over again. And that one almost lands just over to the left of our broadcast position. And we will have another 2-2 battle between Henderson and a 5-hole hitter, Alyssa Grubb. Out one in play to Bennett, to Diaz. She got pulled off the bat, but Sammy with the presence of mind, bringing that glove down to tag Greer on the chest for out number 2. Nice save by Sammy Diaz, who's had herself a busy top of the 5th. So two away for Renee Wilson. For Reese Wilson. Wilson 1 for 2. Knocked down by Henderson. Goes to Diaz, and that will end the inning. So Henderson concedes a leadoff single to Haley Air, but she's only able to advance 60 more feet after that. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Hawkeyes down to their final three innings, trailing 4-0. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Welcome back to our coverage of Iowa softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Learfield. Victor Anderson back with you going to the bottom of inning number 5. Hawkeyes still trailing the Marist Red Foxes 4-0. But we'll have the top of the lineup coming up. Nia Carter, Tatiana Roman, and Tori Bennett. Carter extending her hitting streak with a single back in the 3rd. That one will out of the reach of Brock and Freeland. Carter with that single extended her hitting streak to 12 straight games and her on-base streak to 18 consecutive games. Nia putting the finishing touches on a stellar career with the black and gold. That one goes outside, ball 1. Carter shoots down one to left, hard hit, but right there waiting for it was Brock on the line drive, and down goes Carter, 1 down in the Iowa 5th. Iowa hasn't seemed to get any sort of momentum. The best chance they had was the best 2 chances they had were when they had runners at first and second, in the 3rd. Couldn't have played anyone. As Roman takes that one, you hear that loud crack on that plastic of that batting guard on that right arm, and Roman will go over to first on the hit pitch. So now here comes Tori Bennett. Bennett single in the 1st. Flew out to right her last trip to the plate. That came in the 3rd. She swings on the first pitch. Ball deep in the hole. Throw to second. Pulled off the second baseman R. Safe is Roman. So it'll be 1st and 2nd for the Hawkeyes. And for the 3rd straight inning, the Hawkeyes with multiple runners on. But can they get that critical base hit? It'll be up to Denali Lecker to do so. As we do see action going on in the Marist bullpen as Megan Half, the senior, starting to get loose as Denali fouls that first pitch back to the screen. Bennett will be credited with the single. So Bennett 2 for 3 this morning. Now Denali, who's 0 for 2. In the air, left center field. Going back is Pusey. She'll let that fall. Bounce against the fence. Holman had to hold up. Coming home to score is Roman. Bennett behind her. Lecker goes up to third with a triple, and the Hawkeyes are back in it. It is 4-2. Lecker out of breath. Hands on the knees over at third base as she legged out that three-bagger. Her second triple of the season. She has now surpassed her RBI total from 2022. RBI's 28 and 29. She'll get a well-deserved rest. As now we will see Riley Moss. So it's a 4-2 Marist lead. And a tying run will come to the plate in the form of Grace Baines. Grace 0 for 2, struck out to lead off the second, grounded out to short to lead off the fourth. Hawkeyes showing some life. Now down by a pair. Baines takes that first pitch, very patient on the outside half. 1 ball, no strikes. Riley Moss running for Lecker at third. Sammy Diaz on deck for the Hawkeyes. Now trailing 4-2. 1-0. Baines will get that one up the middle. Now bring home Riley Moss. And Iowa's cut the lead to 4-3. RBI number 12 for Grace Baines. And the Hawkeyes appear to have figured out the riddle that is Kylie Myers. Joe Asanio will have a meeting with his battery, and Coach Renee Gillespie will have a conversation with her team after that RBI single from Grace Baines. Cut the lead down to a single run. If you coach a softball team age 12 or younger want to be on the field with your Iowa Hawkeyes, then sign up for our Iowa Softball Anthem Buddies program. Sign-ups are available right now, but games will fill quickly and are on a first-come, first-served basis. There is still a slot available for the home opener versus Nebraska on March 28th. To register your team, visit HawkeyeSports.com/Anthem Buddies. You get to stand next to your favorite Iowa Hawkeyes as they take the field. A home opener set to be in 2 weeks' time as they take on Rhonda Revelle and the Big Ten tournament champion Nebraska Cornhuskers. 4-3 Iowa trailing by a run. Up comes Sammy Diaz to the plate. Diaz is greeted with a strike. Diaz 0 for 2. Pair of ground outs, 1 to short and 1 back to Wilson. Playing first. Now one's down inside, ball 1. Marist defensively will have Brock, Pusey, and Walsh the outfield from left to right. Grubb, Freeland, R. Wilson the infield from third to first. Davis doing the catching, Myers doing the pitching. And giving up another single. The Hawkeyes are making their best contact this inning against Myers. Another clean single for Sammy Diaz. And now it is decision time for Joe Asanio. Does he go to the bullpen? Riley Klosterman now up to the plate. Tying run in scoring position. Lead run on base for Iowa. Hawkeyes have already plated 3. A 2-run triple by Denali Lecker and an RBI single from Grace Baines. Had the Hawkeyes within 1 and looking for more. In the air, shallow left center. It'll be Brock calling on Pusey. She makes the catch, and that's a big second out for Marist. Again, the Hawkeyes swinging on the first pitch. Klosterman made good contact. Now 2 for 3 this morning. Now Tristan Doster will step in. Opportunity to give her Give the Hawkeyes a tie game or possibly the lead with anything in the alley, anything in the gaps. Takes that outside ball one. 190 down the line here at USF Softball Stadium. 210 in the gaps, 220 straightaway center field. Dosser with a shot will go foul into USF Bull Run, which is behind us over to our right near the entranceway here at USF Softball Stadium. A beautiful campus. Have the Yingling Center, which is formerly known as the Sun Dome, to our right. Those are another good hack, but foul. 1-2. Hawkeyes have played it 3. You got the tying run at second in Grace Bain. Sammy Diaz on at first with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Hawkeyes trailing 4-3. 1-2. Doster got one in, and it will send that out of play. Actually, landed on the roof, on top of the seating along the first base line. So Doster will see at least one more pitch from Myers. One-two. Doster will flip that one. That will go into left field. That will tie up the game as Baines will score. Diaz goes to third. Doster in a rundown. She'll get tagged out. Try to get in a rundown long enough to let Sammy try to come home to score from third. She couldn't, but she brings home Grace Baines. And the Hawkeyes have tied up this contest at 4-4. So Doster will be credited with the RBI single and caught at second base, 7-6. So the Hawkeyes pick up 4 big runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They leave 1. New ball game in Tampa. Hawkeyes and Red Foxes tied up at 4, heading to the top of the 6th. This is Iowa Softball from Learfield. Back to square one here in Tampa, Florida. We go to the top of the 6th, Iowa, with a 4-run bottom of the 5th. And we are tied at 4 with Marist. Victor Anderson back with you here in the Hawkeye Radio Network overlooking USF Softball Stadium. We're set up here at the Donaldson deck on a nice crisp Friday afternoon. And for those of you who are in Iowa City, or hopefully you are bundled up, it is a nice and comfortable 68 degrees here on this Friday morning. Amber Henderson will take on the bottom 3rd of the order. Shay Walsh, Megan Davis, and Hannah Brock. Joe Sanio having a conversation about maybe Henderson's motion. Maybe she, of course, remember, Sanio himself a former Major League pitcher. Pitched for the New York Yankees along with 2 other organizations. So he understands what the those subtle movements of a pitcher are, where it could potentially be called a balk. So keep an eye on that as we progress forward this morning. Walsh, Davis, Brock coming up, taking on Emma Henderson, who has done a nice job of steadying the waters of the SS Hawkeye here in these Florida sometimes rough seas. Pitch an inning in the 3rd, only allowed 1 hit. Goes outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Walsh has reached base twice, had a single in the second, got hit by a pitch in the fourth. Henderson coming on for Devin Greer, who got rocked, ground ball, back to Bennett. Gets the throw to Sammy Diaz, and good time for out number one. Diaz has been, again, it's been in the middle of a lot of the action. Had a couple of nice defensive plays in the top of the inning. Almost scored a go-ahead run after the Doster single, but Doster couldn't get in that rundown long enough to let Sammy come home. But nonetheless, 6-3 to play, one down, strike one, Megan Davis the catcher. Davis usually wears number 19, wearing number 36 today. She's officially over two, grounded into a double play, reached on the fielder's choice and scored. Liner back to Diaz. The ball, they always say that the ball finds you, and the ball has been finding that right side in the Hawkeye first baseman, Sammy Diaz, continuing to account herself well. Two down for Marist in the sixth. And I'll bring up Hannah Brock. Brock also has reached base twice. First pitch, slow flare to left. Right there is Klosterman, makes the catch. And Emma Henderson has retired 5 in a row. First time any team has gone 3 up, 3 down in this game. Hawkeyes with the momentum. We'll head to the home 6. Hawkeyes and Red Foxes still tied at 4. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Got a change of the circle for Marist. Callista Fippen will take over in relief of Kelly Myers. As we go into the bottom of the 6th, Aaron Dow Johnson, volunteer assistant, looking to oversee another huge inning for the Hawkeyes. Streff, Carter, Roman due up. And Streff with a big cut takes strike one. Fippen this season, her second appearance out of the bullpen. She is 4-4, leads the Red Foxes in wins with a 2.55 ERA. 51 strikeouts and 53 innings of work for the right-hander. Streff bounces that one. Took a big bounce off the netting and back towards Grupp and Freeland. Denali Lecker officially re-enters the game for the Hawkeyes as the DP. After being lifted for Riley Moss, who scored a run to make it a 4-3 ball game on the Grace Bain single. Straff will flare that one into the Marist dugout along first past Wilson and Haley R. Count stays 0-2. Straff 0 for 2. Flew out to right and grounded out to short. And when Iowa had second and third in the fourth. 0-2 to the freshie. Fouls that one back off the screen. The Iowa dugout a little bit more vocal, a little extra juice. Got an injection of energy and possibly some caffeine after that 4-run bottom of the fifth. Again, 9-1-2 up for the Hawkeyes. Streff, Carter, Roman. Anna down 1-2. Swings and misses at a pitch and ended up in the lefty box. But the throw from Davis goes away, goes wide in the right field. And Anna Streff will reach on a strikeout wild pitch. What a break for the Hawkeyes. Ball in is short of the 43 feet. Davis had plenty of time. I think she was worried about trying to hit Streff on her throw to Wilson and just airmailed that one in the right field. Carter lays down a lovely bunt and there'll be no play, and the Hawkeyes are in business in the sixth. Sixth multi-hit game of this Florida trip for the nation's second leading hitter, Nia Carter. So first and second, no outs for the Hawkeyes. Here comes Tatiana Roman. Roman herself lays down a bunt. Grupp throws it over to R, who was covering. So Tatiana Roman does the job and does it well. Lays down a beautiful bunt where only Grupp can make the play. So it's now second and third for the Hawkeyes. Go-ahead runs in scoring position, and it'll bring up Tori Bennett. Tori has reached base her last two plate appearances, reached on the fielder's choice in the third, got hit by a pitch, and scored on a Lecker 2-run triple in the fifth. Bennett takes a strike. Iowa only has one win this season when they have not led after the fifth inning. Looking to make that number 2 here in Tampa. 0-1 to Bennett. That one slow breaking outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anna Streff standing at third as a go-ahead run. Nia Carter on at second. Streff reaching on a strikeout and a throwing error from Davis behind the plate. Carter laid down a bunt single, moved over on a Roman sacrifice. And it's swinging away, aiming towards that left center field where it's 210 feet. One ball, 2 strikes to the freshman, Tori Bennett, trying to give the Hawkeyes the lead after trailing 4-0. In front of that one, they look over at home. Good job by Haley R. Looked over at home just enough and makes the throw to Wilson. So now 2 outs for the Hawkeyes. Joe Asanio will come on out and have a meeting with his infield, and Denali Lecker will have a conversation with Coach Renee Gillespie. A lot of moving pieces. Asanio, we'll see if they're going to probably saying, if you're going to pitch to her, pitch very carefully. Lecker, that 2-run triple, hit it to left center, split in between Pusey and Brock to allow Roman and Bennett to score to get the Hawkeyes on the board, 4-2. And now a chance to give the Hawkeyes the lead. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna give Lecker the intentional walk, and the Hawkeye dugout letting Fippett and Davis know about it. So it'll be up to Grace Baines to give the Hawkeyes the lead as they're going to intentionally walk Lecker. Now remember, she was already used a pinch runner for Lecker when Riley Moss came on to pinch run for her after that triple. So they have the intentional walk completed. Sets up the force with 2 outs. Bases full of Hawkeyes. Up comes Grace Baines. Baines had the RBI single in the 5th to cut the lead to 1. Baines takes a strike from Fippen. Anna Streff at 3rd. She represents the go-ahead run. Nia Carter at 2nd. Denali Lecker at 1st. Hawkeyes trailed at 1.4-0. They tied it at 4 in the 5th. Had the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th. No balls and a strike to Baines. Hits that in the air, left center. Pusey is there, makes the catch, and the Hawkeyes will strand the bases loaded. Set up to be another big inning for the black and gold, but cannot come up with the critical hit. Baines flies out to center. They lead the bases full. No runs on a hit and air. Bases left full of Hawkeyes. We'll head to the top of the 7th. Tied at 4. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Iowa had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th, but couldn't play anyone home, and we remain deadlocked at 4-all as we go into the top of the 7th. Victor Anderson with you here at USS Softball Stadium. Top of the order coming up at the top of the 7th for Marist, Peyton Pusey, Sam Freeland, and Hallie R. taking on Emma Henderson, who has come in, only allowed a leadoff single in 2 1/3 innings of work in relief. Pusey, first pitch. We'll go over Coach Asanio past the Iowa dugout. Almost caught volunteer assistant Aaron Dow Johnson. Pusey delivered a deciding blow to knock out Greer, a 3-run home run with 2 down in the top of the 4th. That proved to be the final pitch for Devin Greer this morning. Emma Henderson has stemmed the tide since, and Pusey with a clean single due to left side to start out the Marist 7th. So now out to the number 2 hitter, Sam Freeland. Freeland, the only member of the lineup not to reach base today. She is 0 for 3. Pair of groundouts back to the pitcher and a ground out to 3rd. Goes after a bunt. Doster throw to 1st, and thankfully Streff was there to get that throw. Otherwise, that one goes to right, and Pusey moves up 60 feet. Freeland will try to bump Pusey over to set up Haley R., who's 3 for 3. Bunted again, and just goes foul. Grace Baines, who was hugging that line, was waiting to see where that ball will land up. And once it took that turn and foul ground, scooped it up. No balls, 2 strikes. To Sam Freeland in the top of the 7th. Hawkeyes and Red Foxes knotted up at 4. Henderson deals. It's outside, 1-2. Doster ready to throw a strike to second in case Pusey decides to steal. Pusey successful in her 2 stolen base attempts. Swing and a miss. Strikes out Freeland. So that is the first strikeout for the Iowa staff today. And it comes at a very big time. And up comes Haley R., who is 3 for 3 with 3 singles. R takes strike 1. Trying to pick Henderson, looking to keep this game tied up at 4. All right, ground ball. Gets the second for 1 to first. No, can't get 2. Nice turn at second by Anna Streff. Almost got a big inning double play. But instead, they'll have R replace Pusey at first. 2 down on the 6-3 fielder's choice. And up comes Maddie Pleasance. Pleasance 1 for 2. Takes strike 1 from Henderson. Hawkeyes will have in their half of the 7th Diaz, Klosterman, and Doster. And then Anna Streff if any of them reach base. Henderson trying to send the Hawkeyes to the home half. The way they came into this half, tied at 4. Ball popped in and out of the glove of the sophomore backstop, Kristen Doster. Hawkeyes trying to start a busy St. Patrick's Day with a W and set the tone for Iowa athletics on this St. Patrick's Day morning. Ground ball to Streff. She'll take the short route to Diaz at first. And how about the pitching performance in the circle for Emma Henderson? 3 1/3 innings of scoreless softball. She's done her job. Can the Iowa offense go up for a St. Patrick's Day victory? 6-7-8 coming up for the Hawkeyes. Diaz, Klosterman, and Doster. When we come back, this is Iowa softball from Learfield. The Iowa Hawkeyes have only won 1 game all season when they trailed 4-0 after 4, tied it up in the bottom of the 5th, had the bases loaded, couldn't capitalize in the 6th, but Emma Henderson has set up the opportunity for the Hawkeyes to walk it off in the 7th. 6-7-8 coming up. Sammy Diaz and Doster taking on Kalista Fippen in her 2nd inning of work in relief. Diaz takes the strike. Victor Anderson back with you here at USF Softball Stadium. Hawkeyes looking to make it a 6-1 trip here to Florida and secure a winning spring break trip. Yo, 1. 1 hops in front of the catcher, Megan Davis. Count is even at a ball and a strike. Sammy Diaz with the single in the 5th. She is 1 for 3. Also has 2 groundouts. Just had a solid day with the glove over at first. And again, a number 1 falls a little short of the 43 feet. Count in Diaz's favor, 2-1. Hitters Favorable count for Diaz, 2-1. Pippen sends. That's outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike to Sammy Diaz. Again, Diaz, Klosterman, Doster, and if any of them reach, it'll be Anna Streff. 3-1, just kisses the outside edge, says John Schaefer behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes, and it's a full count. Iowa dugout hoping Diaz can start the 7th inning, getting on base. Payoff pitch by Pippen. Ground ball to third. Grupp, no is low, but Wilson picks it up, 1 down. Now comes Briley Klosterman. Briley 2 for 3 this morning. Last at bat, swung on the first pitch and flew out to Brock in left field. Hits that a mile high, plenty of room. It's Grupp in front of the Iowa dugout, 2 down. So 2 down, here comes Tristan Doster. Tristan had the game-tying RBI single in the 5th. She is 2 for 3, continuing a hot stretch for the sophomore. Lines that one over Coach Gillespie, who had to duck out of the way behind the third base box. Doxter with a strong weekend in Florida. Seen her average increase over 40 points. Came in hitting .313, now hitting. Add to that total for 2-hit performance. She was trying to end the game with that swing, folks. Swings and misses, 0-2. Marist 4, Iowa 4. Hawkeyes, the home team, bottom of the 7th. Doster will square up the barrel of that bat. Pippen, the 0-2. Up the ladder, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Doster trying to reach and bring up Anna Streff, who would hit next for the Hawkeyes. A 1-2, good job by Tristan, laying off the pitch again up high above the letters. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Doster, a little flip, and that one will just take that quick turn left along the third base side, foul. Doster putting together another solid at bat, which has been the case for her these last 4 games. Another 2-2 to number 2. Foul tip into Davis's glove. So Pippen picks up the strikeout, and we will have free softball on Tampa, Florida on this St. Patrick's Day. After not having a 3-up, 3-down frame all game long, Henderson and Pippen pick up 3-up, 3-down frames in the last 2 innings. 7 innings not enough. We'll head to the 8th. International tiebreaker in effect. Hawkeyes and Red Foxes tied at 4. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Free softball on this St. Patrick's Day morning. Iowa and Marist tied up at 4. Ronnie Howard will be the pinch runner. That'll be placed at second for Maddie Pleasance. It'll be Alyssa Grubb, Reese Wilson, Shay Walsh play to take on Emma Henderson. Victor Anderson with you here in Tampa, Florida at the USS Softball Stadium. Outside, ball 1. An international tiebreaker rule. International tiebreaker in effect. Maddie Pleasance was scheduled to be the runner placed at second, but Coach Joe Asanio will have Ronnie Howard pinch run for her. Up to Grubb. 2 balls, no strikes. Count is even actually 1-1, excuse me. That is 2-0. I was correct. The scoreboard was incorrect. John Schaefer keeping the correct count. 2 balls, no strikes. Grubb hits that one, gets through the left side, but the ball is hit just slow enough to. So a base hit given up by Henderson may actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise as you keep that runner at second and you set up the force at first baseman Reese Wilson. Wilson 1 for 3, single way back in the second. That's flown out to right, also grounded out back to Henderson. That's in, ball 1. 4 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Marist. They have stranded 6. 4 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Iowa. They stranded 10. (1-0). Good cut. Fouls off the screen. Iowa and Lehigh will do battle 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game, and that will be the end of the day for the Hawkeyes. They will play the final 2 games of the day tomorrow versus the host USF Bulls and the Texas Longhorns. Pre-game show will start 15 minutes before first pitch. We'll have the action for you here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Another foul ball in front of the Iowa dugout. Count is 1-2. Henderson, you're looking for a ground ball, preferably to the left side to at least get that lead runner Howard. Maybe turn 2 if possible. Infield for the left side playing in for Iowa. That is down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Henderson has come in, has only allowed 3 hits in 3 1/3 innings of work in relief of Devin Greer. Upstairs, full count. Hit the sign over from the Iowa dugout. 3-2 pitch upcoming. In the air to left. Close to minutes there, makes the catch. That's a big first down for the Hawkeyes in the top of the 8th. So 2 plays go in Iowa's favor. The slow rolling single by Alyssa Grubb to keep the runner Howard at second, and now they get the fly out to left to keep the runners placed at first and second. Up comes Walsh. Walsh first pitch, ladder over to Bennett. They can't get the double play. Ball hit on the screws. Right to Torrey Bennett. Couldn't get it over to Streff quick enough to get the double up with Ronnie Howard. And before we see the catcher Megan Davis come out, we'll see a visit from Manny Gardner. Coach Gardner has done a tremendous job. First year the Hawkeyes being a part of UC San Diego's staff, where she helped the Tritons lead the Big West in strikeouts and second in ERA, and coached a pair of all-conference pitchers in her 1 year at UCSD. It's no better time than right now to lock in your season tickets to watch Iowa softball in 2023. Don't miss head coach Renee Gillespie and her Hawkeyes as they start their home schedule March 28th as they take on reigning Big Ten tournament champion Nebraska. Go to HawkeyesSports.com and click on tickets for more information on how you can secure your season tickets today. So the meeting has been adjourned from Coach Gardner. 2 on, 2 out for Marist. They'll be up to the catcher, Megan Davis. Davis lined out to Sammy Diaz back into 6. Davis, first pitch outside, ball 1. Henderson with a wry smile, wondering where that pitch missed. Now, Iowa fans down below, some members of the I Club down below us to the right of the Hawkeye third base dugout, the home dugout for Iowa, in this game anyway. Lines it. Carter slides on one knee, makes the catch, and saves the game for now for Iowa. Emma Henderson, masterful in a circle in relief. And now the Hawkeyes with the chance to walk it off once again. Streff, Carter, Roman coming up. Tied at 4, heading to the home 8. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Bottom of the 8th inning, Hawkeyes with an opportunity after some great defense by Nia Carter, saving the game and preserving a 4-4 tie. Echo Mattiello will be running for Tristan Doster. She will be placed at second. Again, it'll be Streff, Carter, Roman coming up for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So the chess match continues between Coach Asanio and Coach Renee Gillespie. Streff now shows bunt, lays it down. They'll get the tag on the hip, so Streff with a nice first pitch bunt moves Mattiello over. Winning run 60 feet away, and it'll be up, of course. Who else we want in this situation but a Hawkeyes leading hitter and a second leading hitter in the nation, Nia Carter. It feels like a mini Bob Carter Field here in Tampa, Florida, with a chance of Let's Go Hawks. Carter flips that to left, won't be deep enough. Frog makes the catch, and down goes Nia Carter. So we got soft contact from Carter, who flies out to Brock, and now you got 2 down. And it'll be up to Tatiana Roman. And Roman takes strike 1. Krupp about a third of the way in at third. Middle infielder playing along near the baseline. Wilson just off to the right of first. That was up and inside, ball 1. Echo Mattiello, the winning run at third. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. Hawkeyes trying to complete a 4-run rally. They trail 4-0 going into the bottom of the 4th. Flare that will go over to the screen just to our left. And we'll bounce in front of, ball will roll back towards Torrey Bennett. 11 o'clock just passed here in Florida. 10 o'clock Iowa City. Hawkeyes tied at 4. Echo Mattiello, the winning run at third. Ground ball to second. Roll it over, gets it over to first. And we will play more softball here in Tampa. So the Hawkeyes with 2 cracks to bring home Mattiello at third cannot capitalize. 8 innings complete. We remain deadlocked at 4. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Caitlin Holsick will run now at second for Iowa. It'll be Anna Henderson taking over behind the plate, doing the catching, and Emma in the circle. Swing and a miss, strike one for Hannah Brock. Victor Anderson back with you. And a nail biter here at USS Softball Stadium. Hawkeyes 4, Red Foxes 4. We're on to the top of the ninth. Caitlin Hosick running at second. Options starting to go thin on the Marist side of the dugout. Hannah Brock has reached base twice. She flew out to left to end the 6th. Swinging away, foul tipped off the glove of Anna Henderson. Emma in the circle, Anna behind the plate for the Hawkeyes. Outfield and defense and infield remains the same. Klosterman, Roman, Carter in the outfield left to right. Diaz, Streff, Bennett, Baines, your infield from first to third. The 1-2. Low, good tough take by Hannah Brock. Count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 9-1-2 coming up for Marist. Brock, Pusey, and Freeland. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Second strikeout of the morning for Emma Henderson. 1 down in the Marist ninth. Back to the top of the lineup and Peyton Busey. Busey had a leadoff single in the top of the 7th, but was retired on the fielder's choice. Four runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Marist. 4 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Hawkeyes. Foul over to the screen, just to the left from where we are. We're above the Donaldson deck, overlooking USS Softball Stadium on this Friday morning. And a beautiful facility for the home of the USF Bulls. 1-1, that is down low, 2 balls and a strike. QC 2 for 4. Had the 3-run home run back in that 4th inning. QC will send out one almost near our broadcast position. And the inning extends up about 30 feet, and then there's a little crevice about almost a foot where we are. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pusey. Good looking pitch for Emma Henderson. Doesn't get that call on the outside. Shaver's been a little tight with Greer and now Emma Henderson this morning. We're doing now 3-2. Flip, and now we'll go just out of reach of Grace Baines. Probably for the best that nobody caught that, because there was nary a Hawkeye gray jersey within 30 feet of third. And Hosick had a chance if that ball was caught to tag up to advance. But instead, the count stays 3-2. Emma Henderson sends it. Ball 4. 2 good pitches for Emma Henderson, and Hawkeye fans will say she probably got squeezed both instances from the man behind the plate. But if there's a silver lining with that walk, as Sam Freeland comes to the plate, you do now have a force at all 3 bases. And Freeland, who is 0 for 4 today, slaps it foul past third and Coach Assanio. Emma Henderson came on after Payne Pusey hit a 3-run home run to give Marist a 4-0 lead and chase Devin Greer from the game. She has only allowed 3 hits and 4 2/3 of relief work. She's been getting that out. She's been pitching outside, but she has not been getting that call. And sure, if you're assistant coach Mandy Gardner, you got to figure out what does she have to go to get a called strike. You can, again, feel that frustration start to boil up again. That does bubble up. That one, nice stop behind the plate by Anna Henderson. Makes it count 2-1. And you got Haley R., who is 3 for 4, and has reached base all 4 plate appearances on deck for Marist. Ground ball. They'll go to third and get the force out. Great play by Tori Bennett. Had time, made the throw to Grace Baines to force out Caitlin Husick. So smart play, wise beyond her years as a freshman, Tori Bennett. So it'll be first and second, 2 out. And out comes Coach Gardner to have a conversation with her sophomore, Emma Henderson, and her younger sister, freshman Anna. So a fielder's choice. 5-6, has first and second and 2 out. And R coming to the plate, and now Coach Brian Levan will have a talk with the Hawkeye infield with Baines, Bennett, Streff, and Diaz. Because R, with her base hits, 2 of them were poked through the left side and 1 went to right. Reached on the fielder's choice back in the 7th. So now that all parties are on the same page and all are on one accord, R will step in. Emma Henderson trying to keep this a 4-4 tie in the top of the 9th. Inside ball 1. Iowa will have up in their half of the ninth Bennett, Lecker, Baines, and Roman will be the runner at second. Flipped, almost a nice barehanded by Coach Assanio outside of third, but foul. He will not get charged with an error. Top of the ninth, a little over 2 hours in. Iowa trying to keep this a 4-4 tie. To center, that will hop in for a base hit, rounding third. Play to play, she is safe. R does it again, and it's 5-4 Marist. A 4-hit day for Hallie R, her second RBI. And the Red Foxes regained the lead. It is now second and third with 2 out. Maddie Pleasance will re-enter the game to be the designated player. With 2 outs, the runners were in motion. And that allowed Peyton Pusey to score. Freeland at third, R at second, and now Emma Henderson has to resort to damage control right now, and Pleasance to the plate. Down and inside, ball one, and remember, you can't get too flustered right now. You know the umpire hasn't been calling that inside corner. You have to stay diligent though. You can't let that impact your game plan. Nice stop behind the plate by Anna behind the plate. 5-4. Marist with the lead once again on the Hallie R RBI single, her 4th hit this morning. Ground ball, nice scoop over, short by Bennett. Throws it to Diaz to retire the side. But Hallie R once again with the go-ahead RBI single. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. Hawkeyes will once again have to come from behind. We'll have 3-4-5 coming up when we return to Tampa. Marist 5, Iowa 4. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Bottom of the ninth we go. Hawkeyes down to their final 3 outs, trailing by a run. Tatiana Roman will be placed at second. And it'll be Bennett, Lecker, and Grace Baines coming up for the Hawkeyes. Victor Anderson with you here at USS Softball Stadium. Starting a full day of action for you on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Coming up at the top of the hour, continuing coverage of Iowa wrestling at the NCAA National Championships. Stephen Grace and Mark Ironside will have the action for you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bennett lays down a bunt. Throw to first. She says she's out. They say she's out at first. Bennett laid down a bunt, and I thought from our vantage point up here, I thought Tori beat it out, but no, they said that she got, the ball just beat her to the base, and that was as close as you can get it. So tying run at third, one down for Denali Lecker. Lecker takes that in for strike one. Infield playing in. Will go to home if they need to with Roman. The outfield playing straight away. Left field and Brock playing a little further back. Ground ball. Krupp. Get over to first. Lecker laboring a little bit, going back to that Iowa dugout. I don't know if she had pulled something. She's favoring that lower back, as she was going to need some help to get back to the dugout. And if you don't have her in that lineup for any extensive period of time, that is certainly not a good sign to see. As Lecker is going to get helped off the field, and that is not a good sign for Coach Renee Gillespie. She was favoring that lower side. And now the Hawkeyes are down to their final out. It'll be up to Grace Baines. Grace 1 for 4. Outside, ball one. Baines in the RBI single in that 4-run fifth. She flew out her last time up. That came in a 6. They said it was a foul ball. A big break for Marist. As that one was going to roll towards the very short backstop here at Tampa. It would have been a race to the plate between Roman and Fippen. 1-1. Down and away. Count is 2 balls and a strike. Marist leading 5-4. Bottom of the ninth. Tatiana Roman, the tying run at third, and Joe Asanio, understanding the situation, will take his time to the circle and have a conversation with Fippen and Davis, his battery. Hawkeyes trying to come from behind, trying to pick up their second win of the season. We're not leading after 4 innings. Hawkeyes have yet to win a game when they've been when they've been tied after 4 innings. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 down, bottom of the ninth. Grace Baines trying to tie things up with Tatiana Roman 60 feet away. That's in, and that's called a strike. Count is even, 2-2 to Baines. Fippen trying to close out a victory for Marist. 2-2 pitch. Baines ground ball, back knocked down at short. That will bring home Roman, and we're tied at 5. This Hawkeye team will not give up. Down to her final strike. Baines pokes one underneath the glove of Group. Freeland backhanded it, couldn't field it cleanly. And we're tied again. 5-5, let's go Hawks chant emerging. And up comes Riley Klosterman. Klosterman takes ball 1. It'll be an E6 charge to Freeland. We keep playing in Tampa. Sammy Diaz at the plate, Klosterman on deck. Sammy 1 for 4. Shoots that one up the middle. And now the tying run will be at second. And Sammy Diaz with a multi-hit game. First and second for the Hawkeyes with 2 up. And they'll bring up Riley Klosterman. Riley got hits in the second and the fourth. After that, flew out to left and fouled out in front of the Iowa dugout and third. Klosterman takes that inside, ball 1. 5-5. Hawkeyes with 13 hits. Trying to make it number 14 and pick up a huge come-from-behind win. Low in front of home plate. 2 balls, no strikes. The important run stands at second in the form of Grace Baines. She reached on a fielding error by Sam Freeland. I brought home Tatiana Roman to tie it up at 5 with the 2-2 count in the bottom of the ninth. That one will land on top of the roof and bounce towards the entranceway. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Anna Henderson would hit next if Klosterman keeps this game going. A little cue shot, foul towards Coach Dow Johnson over in the first base box. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom 9. 5-5 your score. Grace Baines, the winning run at second. The pitch from Fittman. Fouled off. Klosterman just got a piece. Here we'll do it again, 2-2. Up high and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes. You got Anna Henderson on deck for the Hawkeyes. You're close to me, you're protecting anything close. Outside, ball 4, runners were on the move. So she walks. Bases loaded, forces on at any base. It'll be the first at bat, and it'll be the first at bat this morning for Anna Henderson. And it's the first at bat of the season for Anna Henderson. And what a time for her to come for her. Winning run 60 feet away, and she's aggressive, swinging the first pitch, and that goes right in front of first base in the Marist dugout while Wilson had a chance to make a play. Henderson, in her Iowa career, she is 1 for 10. That hit came versus Oregon State February 20th last year. You don't need a hit here if you're Henderson. You just need to find a way to get on base to bring home the winning run, and Baines at third. Outside for a strike, 0-2. If Henderson somehow gets that winning run home from third, that dugout celebration will be a little extra sweet. The 0-2 pitch. Indiana left. Back goes Brock at the 20 track. She makes the catch and almost went out the yard. Anna Henderson, and this close to ending things for Iowa, and you hear that dugout. High fives all around, and that would have been some scene at home plate if that one left the yard. But instead, for the second time in 4 innings, the Hawkeyes leave the bases loaded. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 3 left. Hope you're caffeinated, folks. We said we were going to have a long day of action. It continues. Next from Tampa, 9 complete, tied at 5. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. More softball coming up for you here in Tampa. Anna Henderson came within inches of a walk-off grand slam. We apologize. We had a brief technical delay. And by technical delay, I mean I accidentally knocked out my microphone where the wind was knocking over our stats. 1 ball, 1 strike. One is laid down, and it'll be no play at first. So the bunt laid down by Alyssa Grupp. Now 1st and 3rd for Marist here in the top of the 10th. Isabella Mannery, the runner at 2nd, she moves over now to 3rd. Second, she's a suction on the plate. She's out on the plate. What a throw by Tori Bennett to cut down Mallory at the home plate. Oh my goodness. Coach Asanio took a gamble, rolled the dice, and came up snake eyes. What a throw by Bennett. What a tag by Anna Henderson to keep this game tied at 5. Ground ball. Baines looks over. They get the out of first. Throw to 3rd. And a great play over at 3rd by Tori Bennett. Had to leap up. Faked out. Tried to fake out the runner at 3rd. And Grupp. Oh, it's been an eventful 90 seconds, folks, to say the least. So Grupp is at third with 2 out. Shea Walsh is at the plate. Actually, Megan Davis is at the plate, excuse me. Whew. Still trying to collect our breath. Actually, that is Shea Walsh at the plate, excuse me. That one's down low. Timeout called, and Coach Gardner will come on out. Iowa 5, Marist 5. We're in the top of the 10th. A wild top half of the inning. Coach Joe Asanio called a delayed double steal. Alyssa Grupp stole second. Tori Bennett cut in front of the throw, short of second base, and made a strike to home. And Anna Henderson, Mannery. Grupp is now at third. 2 outs. Shea Walsh is at the dish for Marist. Hits that to left center field. That's going to go back over the head of the center fielder, Roman. Marist will regain the lead 6-5 on the RBI double by Shea Walsh. So now it will be Iowa's time once again to try and return serve in the bottom of the 10th. But first, they'll have to keep this a 1-run game, and it'll be Megan Davis to the plate. Davis today is 0 for 4 officially. Davis takes that outside, ball 1. Iowa will have up in their half of the 10th. Streff, Carter, Roman. That was the part of the lineup. That was up in the bottom of the 8th. Behind second base, Tori Bennett is there. She makes the catch. That ends the inning. With all of that action, Marist can only plate 1. It was a big one on the RBI double by Shea Walsh. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. 1 left on base. Hawkeyes once again down to their final 3 outs. Trailing 6-5, heading to the home 10th. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Hawkeyes once again down to their final 3 at-bats. Again, needing a run to keep things going. 6-5 in favor of Marist. Avery Jackson will be running for Anna Henderson. She'll be placed on second. And again, it'll be 9-1-2 for the Hawkeyes. Anna Streff, Nia Carter, and Tatiana Roman. Victor Anderson back here with you. I hope your heart rate is just as elevated as ours are right now here at USS Softball Stadium. We've been blessed with a wild one so far. And Streff gets hit by a pitch. So Streff hit by a pitch. And it's first and second in the top of the Iowa order for Nia Carter. Carter hit a first pitch fly out to the left, back in the eighth. She is 2 for 4, extending her hitting streak to 12, a single in the third. Shows bunt. That is low for ball one. If they send Jackson in motion at second, they got Pusey coming in to play to cover second. Carter can hit one up the middle if Pusey charges in. Could potentially end it. Bunt. Fair ball. Third. First, she's safe. Nia Carter doing Nia Carter things, Hawkeye fans. And just like that, Iowa with the bases loaded, nobody out, tying run in Avery Jackson at third, winning run at second in Anna Streff. It'll be up to Tatiana Roman. Another well-placed bunt by the nation's second leading hitter, Nia Carter. Another 3-hit game for Nia, her 5th on this trip to Florida. Roman, ground ball to third. They missed the tag to go home and get the out there. So they get the force with Jackson at home, 5-2. Streff now at third, Carter at second. So here comes Tori Bennett. And the looming question now we have to ask, who will be hitting for Denali Lecker? Oh, we almost didn't have to worry about that question as Bennett just sends that foul. And I want to send the Hawkeyes in the win column. Tori today 2 for 4 with the sacrifice. And a big play cutting down a runner at home plate in the top of the inning. And Bennett's behind 0-2. Jalen Adams is on deck, set to hit for Denali Lecker. She left the game in the bottom of the ninth after hitting a ground ball to third. Bennett, right center. Now will be caught by Walsh. Tagging up his strap, she will score. Carter moves up to third. The freshman Tori Bennett with a sacrifice fly RBI ties things up at 6. And now Coach Renee Gillespie will make the move official. And it'll be the freshman Jalen Adams with a chance to walk things off. Get Adams hitting in the 4 hole for Denali Lecker. So her left the game in the ninth, favoring her left side. Now Coach Gillespie with plenty of options at her disposal here. Again, we got 2 outs. You got the important run is at third and Carter. Marist playing to Adams to shallow left. Brock is there, makes the catch. And the marathon continues. For the second straight inning, Marist takes the lead in the top half, only to have the Hawkeyes respond in the home half. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and 2 Hawkeyes left. 10 in the books. Hawkeyes 6, Red Foxes 6. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. Our busy day of action on the Hawkeye Radio Network continues later on today as Lisa Boulder, Caitlin Clark, and the Iowa women's team will start their road to Dallas today at Carver Hawkeye Arena for the opening round matchup of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship as they take on Southeast Louisiana. Joe Rob Brooks and Jamie K.V. Long for all the action courtside this afternoon. Pre-game coverage tipping off at 2:45 on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Fans can access the stream free on YouTube by downloading the Varsity Network app or by listening to Sirius XM channel 137. At the rate this game is going, we may be your pregame to the pregame for women's basketball later on this afternoon. On to the 11th, Coach Gillespie hitting the emergency button. Brianna Vasquez will get the ball in relief as Emma Henderson was wonderful in relief this morning for Devin Greer. 6 in the third inning, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and the ball get away from the new catcher Bridget Stover. And I will move the runner Megan Davis to third. Both coaches are starting to go thin with their options on the bench. That gets over for a strike. Vasquez on the season has cut down her ERA to 1.2. We'll give you those numbers in just a moment. 0.22 ERA for Bree in her last 6 appearances, including throwing a 1-hitter versus Lafayette on Tuesday morning. Check swing, they'll appeal to third. No swing, says Terrell Guidry. Vasquez this season, 7-1, 1.25 ERA, making her 3rd appearance in relief. A little foul, and it will, again, just missed our broadcast position. About an hour and a half ago, Marist had a 4-0 lead over Iowa. The Hawkeyes responded with 4 in the bottom of the 4th, and the teams have been exchanging runs for the last 2 innings. Popped up to shallow center. Will it be deep enough to tag Davis? The answer will be no, in spite the double clutch from Tatiana Roman. Victor Anderson with you. We're at the Donaldson deck, overlooking the USF softball stadium on what was once a early Friday morning, approaching Friday afternoon here in the Sunshine State. Back to the top of the order, and Peyton Pusey. Pusey takes strike 1 from Vasquez. Vasquez this year, 56 innings, 64 strikeouts, 18 walks. Opponents are batting 154 against her, and she's been even more stingy returning back to Florida. Fouled off, and that one will land on one of the light poles and go back in front of Grace Baines. Vasquez, her last 6 appearances, has only allowed 1 earned run in 31 innings, 42 strikeouts, 9 walks, a .22 ERA. High and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there was some discussion, and that definitely should have given stronger consideration, possibly could have won Big Ten Pitcher of the Week last week for her performances at Madeira Beach at the Spring Games, going 2-0 with a save. That one goes high and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You figure you were going to see Vasquez get the start versus Lehigh and the back end of the Hawkeyes doubleheader, but with the game lasting so long, Coach Gillespie electing to You'll worry about that. You'll worry about Lehigh when you have to. And that one will land foul over near Donaldson deck, just out to the left of our broadcast position. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Davis on at third with 1 out. It's fouled back off the right near the top of the netting. Out in front of Bridget Stover. Stover, the third different Hawkeye catcher being used today. Third different pitcher in the circle for Coach Renee Gillespie. And that one catches her on the elbow. So Pusey hit by the pitch. First and third. 1 out. Up comes Sam Freeland. Freeland takes that away, ball 1. Freeland reached on the fielder's choice in the knife. She is 0 for 5 today. Foul tip into the glove of Stover. Stover behind the plate. Vasquez in the circle. The Hawkeye infield. Diaz, Streff, Bennett, and Baines around the infield, first and third. Carter, Roman, and Klosterman, the outfield from right to left. The 1-1. Again, this is side 2-1, and fans who have stuck their way up here towards us are becoming a little restless with the lack of the outside strikes being called by our man behind the plate, Mr. John Schaefer. Ground ball at third. Second for 1. That's all they'll get. That'll bring home Megan Davis. And Marist again strikes in the top half, 7-6. So goal will be a 4-6 fielder's choice. Second time that she's reached on a fielder's choice, and that one caught off the top of the mask of both Stover and our umpire, Miss John Schaefer. No RBI will be given to Sam Freeland. Joe Asanio will come on over and have it be part discussion, part additional time for Mr. Schaefer to make sure all his faculties are in order. Marist 7, Iowa 6. We're in the 11th inning. That one's up and in the zone from Vasquez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big cut and miss induced by Vasquez makes the count 1-2. It's the longest game the Hawkeyes have played this year. They twice played 9-inning affairs. Ironically enough, both of those games were against the host institutions. A 4-3 loss to FAU and a 2-1 win versus Central Arkansas. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Haley Arv hits that foul ball behind the stands. Vasquez again trying to keep this a 1-run game for the Hawkeyes in their half of the 11th. Inside call, strike three. A little extra cheer after they get that inside call strike. Vasquez picks up the strikeout and down go the Red Foxes, but for the third straight inning, they bring home a run on a fielder's choice. 1 run, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. Hawkeyes again with 3 outs to live. They trail 7-6. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. We go into the bottom of the 11th. Amber DeSena, the junior, will run in the number 4 spot. She'll be placed at second. It'll be Baines, Diaz, and Klosterman coming up for the Hawkeyes. Victor Anderson back with you here in Tampa, Florida, at USS Softball Stadium, and what is it approaching a 3-hour affair. Nice stop behind the plate by Isabella Mannery, who re-enters the game and will be the catcher for Megan Davis. Megan Davis will flip now over to the designated player role. Bunt laid down. They get the throw over to first. So another sacrifice bunt laid down by the Hawkeyes. Moves DeSena over to third. So brings up Sammy Diaz. Diaz 2 of 5. Singled in the 9th. That's now low, ball 1. Riley Klosterman on deck for the Hawkeyes. Lehigh patiently waiting. That goes through the left side. Diaz ties it up, matching the number of jersey. Ball misplayed by Brock. Diaz around second. She will go over to third. Coach Gillespie will hold over there, and the Hawkeyes will have the winning run 60 feet away. An RBI single and a 2-base error ties things up at 7, and Coach Gillespie and the Hawkeyes will have 2 more bites to walk things off in Tampa. So Davis singles. Brock misplays it. Ball rolled along all the way along the fence. Diaz now at third. Klosterman takes that outside, ball 1. Hawkeyes once again matching the run plated by Marist in the top of the inning. But can they get that run home to end things? That was low. Good stop by Isabella Mannery. Taking over behind the plate for Megan Davis. Joe Asanio will come on out and use a few of his conferences remaining in the circle. Callista Phippen. We talked about the great performance in relief for Emma Henderson. We also have to give a tip of the cap to Callista Phippen coming in for Kylie Myers. 5 in the third innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, walked 2, struck out 2. 69 pitches, 74 strikes. Myers went 5 innings, gave up 11 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 1 strikeout on 74 pitches. 2-0 to count to Briley Klosterman. Outside for a called strike. Bridget Stover on deck for Iowa. Klosterman looking to walk off Iowa in what will be the wildest game of the year. Foul up the middle, up second base. It's a great day to be a Hawkeye. Briley Klosterman finally ends it. It took 11 innings. It took just 1 minute short of 3 hours. But the Hawkeyes start the South Florida showdown in the win column. In 11 innings, Hawkeyes take it 8-7. Briley Klosterman with the walk-off single. Scoring Sammy Diaz. And Iowa comes away with a hard-fought, well-earned victory, 8-7. So the Hawkeyes picked up the victory 8-7 as we just get past 12 o'clock Florida time. And I want to remind everybody that the coverage of Iowa wrestling getting underway right now from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Stephen Gray's Mark Ironside giving the action all day long on the Hawkeye Radio Network and AM 800 KXIC. Hawkeyes with the win 8-7. For the Hawkeyes, 8 runs, 16 hits. No errors, they leave 16. For Marist, 7 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors, they leave 12. Brianna Vasquez comes on in relief. She picks up the victory. She improves now to 8-1 on the season. Callista Phippen tagged with the tough loss after a strong performance in relief. She falls on the season to 4-5. Iowa picks up their 6th win in Florida. They guarantee a winning record on spring break. They now improve to 17-9 on the season. Marist with the loss. They fall to 7-15. Hawkeyes won't have much time to turn around. They'll have a quick 30-minute respite, and they'll get ready to take on the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh. Look to extract a measure of revenge for their lone loss so far in their spring break trip. We will collect ourselves. We will recap everything in 15 minutes. So make sure you switch the stream along with us. As the Hawkeyes get a walk-off win in 11 innings, Briley Klosterman, the winner, an RBI single on the bottom of the 11th, puts the Hawkeyes in the win column in 11 innings. Iowa 8 and Marist 7. We'll talk to you in about 15 minutes for our Iowa softball pregame show, where we will recap everything that took place in a nice condensed fashion and get you ready for Iowa and Lehigh as the Hawkeyes continue their march to the Sunshine State. This has been Iowa softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Learfield.